What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to check out the changes that they have made with the shadow equipment. But before we start the video, do you have problems AFK grinding in ROX? Do you always worry that you may overcharge or the battery of your phone, tablet, or laptop may overheat? Do you worry about your electricity bill when grinding using your personal computer that is running for days non-stop? Or do you encounter intermittent connection from your internet service provider, which disconnects your character when AFK grinding? Well, if that is the case, then UgPhone can solve all of your problems. UgPhone is a cloud phone that runs independently in the cloud, and it does not consume the memory or battery of your physical device. Even if you close the UgPhone app, your game will still continue to run in the cloud, which makes this the perfect phone for AFK grinding for 24 hours, 7 days a week non-stop.
Nice.
You can also run multiple instances of UgPhone in one account, which allows you to play and grind multiple games simultaneously. As you can see, my Shura and Royal Guard are AFK grinding at the same time. UgPhone is available in Google Play for Android, App Store for iOS, Windows Store for PC, and you can also use a web browser to run UgPhone. So if you want to try out UgPhone, you can use my link shown in the description below. And you can also use my invitation code, which really helps me out. So thank you guys, and thank you UgPhone for the sponsor. Now let's get back to the video. At first, I was planning to release this video tomorrow, since I have already posted one a few hours ago. However, when I saw how good this update was in the shadow equipment, I knew that I needed to make a video about this as soon as possible. So what are the changes that they have made in the shadow equipment? First is that the shadow equipment levels are now shared across all weapon builds for a class. For example, my one-handed sword and shield is at SE7. When I unlock the spear and two-handed sword for the shadow equipment, these two weapon types will directly go to level 7. Here is a perfect example for this change. Initially, my light knuckle weapon was only at level 1. After the patch, the level has been aligned to my heavy knuckle weapon. This change is also applicable to the Pioneer and Inscription tabs for the shadow equipment. The levels for each stat in the Pioneer and Inscription tabs are now shared across all weapon builds, which is again very convenient, especially for majority of the players in the game. I know that some players might not like this change, especially those who have invested in multiple sets. However, they will get compensation rewards from ROX since this will affect the investments that they have made. The second big change that I really like about the shadow equipment are the stats that they have added in the Pioneer and Inscription tabs. These stats will surely be a game changer when it comes to optimizing your stats, because now you can increase your elemental enhancement and size modifier stats through your shadow equipment. As you can see in the Inscription tab, there are now elemental reduction stats as well as size damage bonus stats that you can level up to improve your build. And for the Pioneer tab, that's where you will get the elemental enhancement as well as the size reduction stats. Again, this update is a game changer when it comes to building your character, because now you can use your shadow equipment as a means of getting more elemental enhancement stats rather than solely relying on cards and enchantments from Sleuth. I really like this change as this gives players more flexibility when it comes to being creative with their builds. Even I am quite stunned right now with this update, and I am thinking about how can I optimize my build more. Now, I completely understand why they have added a new medal store in the guild NPC, because players will surely take advantage of this change in the shadow equipment and will focus heavily in upgrading these stats. Another big change that they have made, and personally this is long overdue, is the embedding and removal of cards in the game. To be honest, I was not a fan of the original system used for removing cards in this game. I mean, why do I have to spend crystals just to remove cards in my equipment? That's weird. At the same time, in order to remove a card in your equipment, you need to do this with an NPC, which is so inconvenient, as you have to go back in town just to do this simple change. However, with this new update, we can now remove and embed cards in an instant, without having to worry about spending crystals, as well as going back in town. Now, when you click your equipment and click the embed button, you will be directed to this window, where you can remove and embed cards in your equipment. It's that easy and simple. This is a great quality of life improvement made by ROX in a very long time. So I really commend the devs for making this change, as we should always give credit where credit is due. Another thing that I really like about this card change is that when you are using different cards for a different loadout, it will not be carried over to a new one. For example, I am using PvP cards for my PvP loadout. Once I change to my PvE loadout, the PvP cards will not be carried over. The cards that I'm using for PvE will be saved in my PvE loadout. Another great quality of life improvement by ROX. Before, it was really a struggle to change loadouts in this game, because every change that you make requires spending crystals in the game. But now, they made it easier and smoother for players, which again, kudos to the devs of the game. Moving on to the last thing that I would like to talk about, and these are the interim 4th class skills. Now, these are skills provided to the jobs that doesn't have a 4th job update in the current patch. Best example for this is my Royal Guard and Shura. These skills are provided to those characters as a compensation reward from ROX since their 4 jobs are currently delayed. Do note that these skills are all the same across all jobs without the 4th job patch. Here's my honest thoughts about these skills that they have provided. When it comes to the passive skills, those are really useful to be honest. Especially the passive skills that provides elemental enhancement and damage dealt to monster types, as well as the Goddess Revival and Goddess Protection skills, which gives you health regeneration and damage reduction. When it comes to the active skills, these are very decent and strong skills that you can use. However, if you ask me, if your character already has a decent amount of damage, especially if you can one-hit monsters using your normal skills or normal attacks, then I don't really see the use for these new skills provided. My main issue with these skills is that they have a long fixed cooldown time. For example, the Goddess Retribution has a fixed cooldown of 6 seconds, which makes this skill not spammable. Same with the Goddess Verdict, which has a 10-second fixed cooldown, the Goddess Domain, which has a 20-second fixed cooldown, and the Goddess Wrath, which has a 12-second fixed cooldown. I think these skills are more for dungeons, boss hunts, and maybe PvP. But when it comes to AFK grinding, if you can already clear a spot with 1 or 2 skills, then I don't think these new skills are really beneficial. But still, these are good additions to the classes without a 4th job. It really depends on where you will be using this new set of skills. Also take note that when you have already changed to the 4th job, you will no longer get or see these interim 4th class skills. And that's it for today's video. What are your thoughts on the recent changes that the devs made in the game? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, and if you want to see more ROX content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. GG!
You're a superhero.